Kia ora koutou, ko Anka aho, e mahi ana aho I te totoko I te I ngā manene, he tino harikoa aho ki te uru atu ki tēnei kōna ipurangi I tēnei rā, ko te reo Māori he taonga mō ngā iwi katoa o Aotearoa. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
So, according to MIPACS, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called the Migration Integration Policy Index 2020. Two of the factors determining positive migrant integration is, in fact, political participation and anti-discrimination. Now, psychologically, it really played into my head, not knowing whether or not I was going to be able to settle permanently in Australia. So, while I was on a temporary visa. So it was really hard for me to be motivated to want to learn about Australian politics, because you just don't know, why am I putting in all this effort? I don't even know whether I'm going to be living in this country. You've spent so much time helping people with their visas. Can you shed some light into what you think have been the barriers to political participation?
Look, you're quite right. A lot of people come to Australia, particularly these days, not knowing whether they're going to be here permanently. And even if they have a pathway and they somehow are able to get to that stage where they become permanent residents of Australia, they are very limited in terms of what they can do from a political perspective. You don't have voting rights as a permanent resident in Australia, in contrast to New Zealand, for example, right next door, where in New Zealand, permanent residents are able to vote after a certain period of residence in the country. So you don't have that in Australia. And so you have a situation where you have very few political rights until such time as you become a citizen, and that can be way down the track for some people. Once you become a citizen, you find that you actually have compulsory voting in Australia. You have no idea who to vote for because you've never really looked into it.
Suddenly, overnight, you've got to learn everything there is to learn about all the parties, and then realize, oh crap, where do my values align? What's the right way to vote? Oh my God!
And where do you find that information? Really, that's the question, isn't it? I mean, there's no sort of support or provided to new migrants. There's no civics education that's available. For example, just to give an example, the Department of Immigration makes English language tuition available to new migrants who need it for a period of time after they've become permanent residents in Australia. But there's no similar sort of support for civics education, and that includes, of course, to understand the political landscape, how voting works, what are my rights, what are the political parties, what do they stand for, what are my obligations as a citizen. So there's very limited information out there with regard to these sorts of things.